Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jennifer Jeffries, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. When I was 17, I joined the Australian Army, and I learned that self-discipline just meant doing the opposite of what I wanted to do. That was it. And what I learned from that was that it actually impacts, self-discipline impacts so much. And in particular, it really influences our self-esteem and confidence. 18 months ago, my self-esteem and confidence, self-confidence took a really big hit. I had a pelvic floor prolapse, totally out of the blue, wasn't expecting it. And it stopped me at initially being as physical as I usually would. I am a person who loves to lift weights and feel strong, and I'm really functionally strong. However, it knocked my self-confidence. It's been a learning experience for me to get my body back to a place to feel really confident with it again, dealing with a prolapse. And I've had such success with the treatments I've been having, and yet there was still a little bit of mind stuff going on. And so I realized tapping into my self-discipline again that I learned in the Australian Army was something really necessary to do. The reason is because our self-discipline sits behind self-esteem and self-confidence. So I'm going to explore that. Let's go. So just not sticking to our word, which is what self-discipline is. We say we're going to do something and we don't do it. Goes beyond just not met goals or delayed progress and things like that. It actually does. It chips away and chips away and chips away. And it's like a vicious cycle that really brings self-doubt and feelings of inadequacy into us. So self-esteem is our belief in our own values and abilities. And it's like, yep, when we're self-disciplined, I'm going to go for this walk. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to do a 30-day reset. The year's ending. I'm going to nail all my goals next year. I'm going to be more present with my family, my kids, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. When we do it, we build trust in ourselves. And every time we follow through on a commitment, whether it's completing a task or maintaining a habit or resisting temptation, standing at the fridge, looking in, wanting to eat something, crap, walking away, closing the door. Wow, what a power move. Those things, tapping into that self-discipline helps us to really boost baby boosts all the time to our self-esteem and self-confidence. So in contrast, if we don't do that, if we stand at the fridge and reach in for something that we know we shouldn't be eating at that time, or we don't keep our word with ourselves and go for a walk because it's raining or whatever. And as I record this, I am absolutely wringing wet with sweat. It is a really humid day. And I walked the dog this morning and just came back 100% soaked, not from the rain, but just from sweating. And so it's easy to go, no, I'm not going to do that today because it's not comfortable. However, if we don't do it, or failing to stick to a diet or skipping workouts or procrastinating on whatever a task is we need to do, whatever it is, the normal default is to go to guilt and disappointment. Oh, and I've talked in podcasts before about how negative emotions like guilt change our body chemistry from being alkaline to acidic faster than crap food. And over time, they just chip away at our self-confidence. They just do. And so for me, if I relate it back to my pelvic floor, when that all originally happened, it did my head in a bit to start. And I've talked about it on past podcasts. But here I am 18 months later, and I realized I'm still not lifting as heavy a weights as I should be able to. And it's only because a lack of self-confidence, a little bit of worry that because I was lifting really big weights, not with the right posture, which is all part of why I got the prolapse. And so the erosion of my self-worth in that department has been real. It's been real. So I've now engaged the support of one of my fanny physios, and I've taken up Pilates. And the goal is even within 6 weeks to get back to some serious weights. And even just like I trained with her this morning, and it feels good to be doing it. But I've got someone just making sure I use the right posture so that I don't go driving my pelvic floor down again, okay, which I did. So I get it. If you're not been feeling as confident as you could, and if your self-esteem and self-worth has been chipped away at, I really get it. I've been living it for quite a while. Well, for me, a long while, 18 months. And that's really unusual for me. I learned self-discipline in the army, and so it's always had a great positive effect on me. But when we fail to be consistent or meet the commitments we make with ourselves, we can label ourselves weak or lazy. For me, weak, I definitely did. I had an internal dialogue going on that wasn't necessarily as healthy as it could be. Some people, it can go to shame. It doesn't matter what it is. It's like I failed, or I really did. It did a bit of a number on me. And so the thing is, catching it is a secret, okay? Because otherwise we stay looping. We stay in this vicious cycle of inaction. And so there's a relationship between self-discipline and self-esteem and self-worth. And it's cyclical. And so more self-discipline leads to more self-worth, more self-esteem, more confidence. Lack of self-discipline leads to less self-worth, less self-esteem, less confidence. It's a loop. We've got to break the loop somewhere. The place we break the loop, well, I'm going to set through the things that I've gone through to really mindfully do this, but is to start with, well, let's just do them. Anyway, okay, I've got half a dozen things for you that I've thought about. What is it? So one is set goals. So my goal is within 6 weeks working with this Pilates instructor.
Have you ever wondered how your life could have been different if you'd had access to this type of content at a younger age? Look, this is why I need your help. I'm working to build the #1 platform that gives real and easy to integrate healthy life hacks and mindset to help you get well and stay well. This show only grows by word of mouth and new subscribers. It would mean the world to me if you could click the subscribe button right now, leave a 5-star written review, or drop a comment below. Share this episode with a friend and I would be forever grateful. Now, let's get back to this week's episode.
I'll be back lifting serious weights. So I want to get back to doing 15-kilo dumbbells, bench presses, and I want to get back to serious deadlifts, because they're two big exercises that I know really impacted my pelvic floor with hurting it. So, but doing it properly. Now, this morning when I trained with her, I used 2.5 kilo weights, 2.5 kilo. And my brain, my ego goes, I said to her, fucking 2.5 kilos, what? And she said, Jen, let's literally get the little wins. Every win counts. And I talk about this in lots of podcasts. So living that journey of her making me use little weights to get really good form, and then doing high repetition. She still took me to fatigue, which was great. However, I need at the moment to do that. And every little minor task, it doesn't matter what it is, boosts confidence. And I felt great at the end of the session. Absolutely. It was like, yes, I did that. And so we can build on that. Whereas if I just went straight out with 10 or 15 kilos and taxed my pelvic floor because I couldn't keep good form, because I haven't done those weights for 18 months, that's not going to help anything, okay? It's that lack of consistency then. So that's the first one. Number 2 is to just be gentle with yourself. Practice self-compassion. So like I said, my ego was bent because she gave me 2.5 kilo weights, and me giving myself a hard time was not going to help anything. So instead of giving myself a hard time, I was gentle with myself, and I went, yep, good, I'm going to build on this. So that's one. Establish a routine. So I've booked appointments with her 2 or 3 times a week, each week for the next 6 weeks. Why 6 weeks? Because I've got to travel back to China in 6 weeks to do some lecturing, and I want to be in a different physical place in that amount of time. And I know 6 weeks, it's half a blood cycle. I'll be away for a couple of weeks. I'll come back and pick it up again. But it's a measurable amount of time for me to feel it. So even if it doesn't matter what it is, whether you're going to go and walk around the block, whether you're going to play with your cat, talk to your partner, doesn't do whatever that task is for your work you've been putting off. Journaling a day, 10 minutes, meditating 5 minutes. It doesn't matter what it is. Be consistent. Put it in your diary. It becomes a not negotiable. Tracking your progress is important. And so for me, like, I know the difference, 2.5 kilo weights, I'll be able to track my milestones, doing the repetitions, all those things with what I'm doing with this, as well as, going for walks, and she's given me homework I've got to do every day. All that's part of it. So you need to be able to track what's happening. Then surrounding yourself with supportive people who are going to lift you up and cheer you on. They're going to encourage you to keep going. So, yeah, Georgia, my fanny physio, she's a bloody gem. She really is. She's a good young chick. I'm old enough to be well over her mother and heading towards her grandmother's age, but she's a really good chick and so attentive and just not patronizingly, really supportively supports me. And that's important, as well as, my wife, Alice, and just the wonderful community that I have even online. So that's it. And then focus on the long term. So you're doing the baby pictures as you go along, but you still need to have that end goal. So I know where I want to be. I've, measured it, and it's not realistic. It's a stretch where I want to be in 6 weeks' time. And at the same time, it's going to be achievable with a stretch. So make your goals achievable with a stretch. Okay. So I've got the long-term picture. However, I'm reminding myself to stay present, enjoy the day, and get the results. And that's it. So that consistency is going to help, and discipline doing it is what I know is going to bring me a different result in 6 weeks' time. There's going to be challenging days. I get it. There's going to be days I don't want to do it. I get it. There's going to be days I'm going to fucking nail it. I get it. And it's just the day after day after day. Don't get ahead of ourselves. It doesn't matter what the goal is. Tapping into self-esteem. If your confidence and self-esteem self-worth has been taken a knock for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Like I say, mine totally has. Okay. And I am mindfully bringing it back, and I'm bringing it back with self-discipline. Self-discipline, day after day, baby steps, doing just those half a dozen things I talked about. I know it already has. It's been a week, and I'm already in a better place than what I was. So that's it. I hope that's a help, because self-esteem and self-worth, it's a big issue, particularly for women. And like I said, we loop. The place we've got to break that loop is with self-discipline, the discipline to do the baby steps first and build on it. See ya. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review, have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from, so that you always catch the next episode. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.